Hello friends. Indian economy has been in the news for quite some time now. So let us dive into the fascinating journey of the Indian economy, how it transformed into a vibrant force after liberalization, why it hit some rough patches starting around 2014, and what domestic and external factors have shaped its difficulties. This will not be a dry lecture with jargon thrown at you. Think of it as a chat over chai about how India's economic story unfolded. Picture India in the early 1990s. The economy was like a tightly wound spring, ready to burst but held back by decades of restrictive policies. The country was in a financial mess. Foreign reserves were so low we could barely pay for a few weeks of imports. Then came 1991, a turning point. Under Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao and Finance Minister Manmohan Singh, India flung open its doors to the world with liberalization. It was like letting fresh air into a stuffy room. Before this, India's economy was shackled by the license Raj, a maze of permits and red tape that stifled businesses. Want to start a factory? Good luck navigating the bureaucracy. Liberalization slashed tariffs, welcomed foreign investment, and told Indian companies go compete. The private sector, which had been sitting on the sidelines, suddenly showed. Companies like Tata, Reliance, and Infosys didn't just step up, they sprinted. The numbers tell the story. From 1991 to 2014, India's GDP growth averaged around 6 to 7% annually, a tremendous leap from the sluggish 3 to 4% of the pre-reform years, often mocked as the Hindu rate of growth. Foreign direct investment poured in, jumping from a measly $100 million in 1990 to over $30 billion by the mid 2000s. Industries like IT and telecom exploded. Bangalore became a global tech hub, and mobile phones went from luxury to necessity. What made this vibrancy possible? For one, India's young English speaking workforce was a gold mine. When the world needed software coders or call center staff, Indian talent was ready. Exports soared. IT services alone rake in over $150 billion annually today. Meanwhile, deregulation unleashed entrepreneurship. Small businesses popped up and big firms expanded globally. Think of Maruti Suzuki. Once a government backed car maker, it teamed up with Japan's Suzuki and became a household name. The middle class ballooned from about 50 million in 1991 to over 300 million by 2010s. They started spending on cars, homes, vacations, fueling domestic demand. It wasn't perfect though. Inequality grew and rural India often lagged. Still, the post liberalization years turned India from a sleepy giant into an economic player the world could not ignore. Fast forward to 2014. India was riding high, often clocking growth rates above 7%. The Modi government came in with big promises, jobs, infrastructure, and a $5 trillion economy by 2025. But then things wobbled. Growth slowed, dipping to 4 to 5% in some years, and the economy faced headwinds it could not dodge. So, what went wrong? First, let us talk about two bold moves, demonetization and the Goods and Services Tax or GST. In November 2016, the government scrapped 86% of India's currency overnight, aiming to curb black money. It was a shock and awe tactic, but it backfired. Small businesses which run on cash ground to a halt. Imagine a vegetable vendor or a local kirana shop. Suddenly, no one had money to buy and they had no money to restock. GDP growth tanked from 8.2% in 2016 to 6.8% the next year. Then came GST in 2017, a massive tax reform meant to unify India's messy tax system. Great idea, but the rollout, it was messy. Businesses, especially small ones, struggled with compliance, multiple tax slabs, confusing paperwork, and everything else related to that. A friend who runs a textile shop told me he spent more time figuring out GST than selling kurtas. Growth took another hit, dipping below 6%. Jobs became a sore spot too. India's youth bulge, millions entering the workforce yearly, needed work. But job creation stalled. Manufacturing, which was supposed to boom under Make in India, didn't take off as hoped. Investment slowed and private companies hesitated to expand. By 2019, unemployment hit a 45-year high at 6.1% as per official data. Although many argue the real number was much worse. Then, the global pandemic in 2020 kicked India while it was down. Lockdowns, shuttered factories, and migrant workers trekked back to villages. GDP shrank by 7.3% in 2020-21, the worst contraction since independence. Recovery has been uneven since, with growth rebounding to 8% in 2021-22 but slowing again to 6 to 7% as global demand weakened. So, from 2014, it wasn't one colossal disaster but a series of stumbles, some self inflicted, some external, that dulled India's economic shine. India's economy is not an island. It is swayed by what happens at home and abroad, from politics to monsoons. Let us break it down. Government moves like demonetization and GST showed how much policy can jolt the economy for better or worse. On the flip side, reforms like easing FDI rules in sectors like defense and insurance kept some optimism alive. The push for digital payments post demonetization also birthed a fintech boom. But uncertainty around tax policies has been a thorn in the side. Even after GST, frequent tweaks to rates and rules like retrospective tax disputes left businesses jittery. Investors, Indian and foreign, hate surprises. When a company like Vodafone gets slapped with a $2 billion tax bill years after a deal, it sends a message. India's tax regime can be unpredictable. That hesitation has kept some big investments on hold. India's diversity is its strength, but also a challenge. Rural distress, about 60% of Indians depend on agriculture, drags growth when monsoons fail or farm prices crash. Meanwhile, urban India races ahead, widening the gap. Education and skills matter too. While IT thrives, millions lack training for modern jobs, leaving unemployment high. Modi's strong mandate since 2014 brought continuity, but it has not been all smooth sailing. The communalization of politics, rising tensions between religious communities, often stoked by polarizing rhetoric or policies like the Citizenship Amendment Act or CAA, has rattled the social fabric. Protests erupted, like those in 2019-20 over CAA, disrupting cities and spooking investors. Foreign headlines screamed about instability, and some multinationals paused plans, wondering if India was still a safe bet. Indian firms also held back. Why sink money into a factory if riots might shut it down? State level politics add complexity. Some states like Gujarat attract investment while others lag. Corruption, though reduced, still gums up the works. Roads, ports, and power got a big push. Highway construction doubled since 2014, but private investment, it has been timid. Banks, choked with bad loans from the early 2010s, think Vijay Mallya's Kingfisher mess. Tightened lending, starving businesses of cash. Add tax uncertainty and communal tensions, and you have got a recipe for reluctance. Both Indian tycoons and foreign CEOs think twice before betting big on India. India is tied to the world's pulse. The 2008 financial crisis barely grazed us. Growth stayed above 6%. because we weren't too exposed. But post 2014, slowing global demand hit exports. China's slowdown hurt too. They are a big buyer of Indian goods. Oil prices are another wild card. India imports 80% of its crude. So, when prices spike, like in 2022 after Russia-Ukraine war, the trade deficit balloons. Trade wars like Trump's tariffs and tensions with China disrupted supply chains. India's border spat with China in 2020 pushed a self-reliance drive back. But banning Chinese apps and goods raised costs for Indian firms reliant on cheap import. Foreign investment has been a lifeline. $80 billion flowed in during 2020-21 alone. Despite COVID, Indian workers abroad sent back $80 to $100 billion yearly, cushioning the economy. But when global recessions hit, both can dry up. And when domestic unrest flares, FDI gets warier. Communal clashes don't exactly scream invest here. Monsoons dictate rural India's fate. A bad year, like 2015's drought, slashes farm output, hikes food prices, and fuels inflation. Climate change makes this worse, with erratic rains now routine. India's economy is a roller coaster, thrilling highs post 1991, shaky dips from 2014, and a mix of homegrown and global forces steering the right. Liberalization unleashed a vibrant, dynamic India, proving it could punch above its weight. But the struggles since 2014, compounded by tax uncertainty and communal tensions, remind us that bold ideas need smooth execution, and no economy is immune to the world's chaos or its own fault lines. Today, in March 2025, India is at a crossroads. Growth is picking up, maybe 6.5% this year, but challenges like jobs, inequality, and climate loom large. Investors, both Indian and foreign, want clarity on taxes and peace on the streets. Domestic grit and global luck will decide if India hits that $5 trillion dream. For now, it is a story of resilience, imperfect, messy, but always moving forward. What do you think? Where is this ride headed next? Do let me know in the comments. Thank you.